Hello, today we're going to be looking at a tropical update. So since our last video we were looking at potential tropical cyclone 2, I'm pretty sure, and a couple areas of interest in the western Pacific. But a lot has happened, well not too much, just a little bit. And yeah, just to start off, Bonnie in the Caribbean, mainly the southern Caribbean, was a tropical potential tropical cyclone for a while until around the middle of the southern Caribbean, exiting Colombia before making landfall just east of Lake Nicaragua. It was only a tropical storm, even despite hurricane watches that were eventually repealed, pretty sure. And then it actually became a major hurricane in the eastern Pacific. It is currently, right now, it is located out to sea, and it is a tropical storm, and it is expected to not impact any more land and just exit to the west. Now, besides Bonnie, it didn't get an Eastern Pacific name, it kept its name. We actually had Tropical Storm Colin, which was just a tropical storm, and it formed overland and died overland. So its entire track was overland, very weirdly using the brown ocean effect. But yeah, besides that, nothing else has happened, no activity expected for a while. Now, looking at Asia, we actually had two systems, Chava and Irie. Chava was a typhoon in the South China Sea, and it went through China, struck it as a typhoon. Now its long extratropical remnants were impacting North Korea and China, and now it is barely traceable, not really traceable at all. Irie, another tropical storm in the western Pacific, stayed as a tropical storm, formed and eventually impacted Japan as a tropical depression. It weakened before going south. It turned extratropical. Its remnants then reformed into subtropical storm Irie, where it is still right now. The main threat is rainfall for the farther north parts of Japan I think it is expected to turn post-tropical, as its extratropical remnants will move to the northeast, dying off near the northern open waters. One more thing, looking at the Western Pacific, Eastern Pacific, we actually had an area of interest that could have formed, but it never got its act together, and it never formed. We do have two areas of interest. We'll look at this later. One that is likely to form, and one that could form later. This first one, the next name on the list is actually Darby. So that could be its name, but currently this tropical wave is expected to become a tropical storm and may become a hurricane before turning back to a tropical storm and impacting Hawaii. It may not be a tropical storm anymore, but it potentially may impact Hawaii with those winds. The next wave behind it may impact Mexico as it moves to the north behind it. It could go out to sea, though. But anyway, besides that, we haven't had too much. But yeah, the Atlantic is expected to stay quiet, and the GFS is actually spinning up something in the Indian Ocean. I do not think it is going to become anything because it is the off-season, and the GFS likes to make these fantasy storms and really not create something at all. I actually have one more thing. We were watching areas of interest here and here to form something out of the cold front exiting, but nothing really became of that, and nothing is expected for a while. But maybe activity may be picking up by the end of July into August, and yeah, and above average hurricane season is still expected. All right, now looking at other, just looking at Tropical Storm Bonnie. It is not expected to become of anything too big anymore. It is expected to become a post-tropical cyclone with depression winds. Then we have this storm behind it with a 40-70% chance, and then they actually didn't mark this system behind it, but it could be forming later. But confidence is low in that. 48 hours and 5 days, really nothing expected. They actually have it, they have 20% in the next 5 days. But then, looking at tropical tidbits, I'll go to the Western Pacific first. We see Irie, and actually, maybe this is part of Chava, or another system, but it's, you could see Irie's remnants, extratropical remnants, really fizzling out, the convection really just stopping. Then we're looking for this system right here. We could be seeing a system come out of that. Probably not anything as the extent it has here. Probably not a typhoon, but we'll keep watch. We don't really think too much is going to happen, but maybe something will form in the next little bit. But yeah, looking at the North Atlantic, you could see most of that activity being onshore. You actually see this wave forming into something and going up to near Baja California in Mexico. And then we see these waves coming off, but really nothing forming into a cyclone. But maybe activity will pick up after mid-July into late July. Looking into our 7-day forecast, no longer tropical forecasting, just generally sunny, not too warm. A lot of air is coming out of Canada. That pattern might be changing as we get into late July, early August, with the picking up tropical activity. No thunderstorm risks for the next 3 days. And finally, just a storm prediction center today. A lot of activities in the southeast, but besides that, nothing else to comment on for our weather. That's going to be it. Thank you for listening, and yeah, more updates to come soon.